All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Bourbon Banter Evans. It's 2024, and Justin, what are we doing in 2024?
2024 has all kind of different things. Let us remind you one more time. We started 2024 off with a calendar, so stay tuned for that.
Yep.
We just did a first ranking and rating with the barrel or stave barrel char.
Yep.
1 through 4, and then the ultimate, we'll call it the 1910 later. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to casually open this Stagg barrel pick, single barrel that we came across.
Yep, and we actually have another one right over here, but it's been opened, as you can see.
Yeah, so that one's already been opened, so we're going to open this one on camera, and we're all going to get a taste of this one, and we're going to do the first Bourbon Banter Evans Stagg barrel pick side by side.
Yes, indeed.
And this is one of the greatest sounds, if we can catch this on camera as best we can,
Got it right there. Hopefully we
the
can.
bourbon world, is if it has a good seal and a good pop. So here we go. That's a good seal and a good pop.
Yep.
So if we were going to rank this and rate this just already on the previous video, I'm going to go, that had a really nice, at least a 2. So, you know, a char rating of barrel stave char 2 for the pop. And, you know, we're doing it with real cork. So let's go ahead and uncork that bad boy.
All right.
And Charles, what in the world are we going to start with? Small pours before we get in this, while this one breathes.
Well, first thing we're going to say is like and subscribe. We really want to know what you're thinking. Let us know your comments and everything, and just give us some comments. But to go back with what you're asking, I think we need to try some good old control.
Let's set this back. Let's set this back to the way it started, and let's do a little bit of control.
Yeah.
And we'll wash it down, and then we're going to compare it to this random Old Forester here. And I beg to ask the question why we have this brand new 1924 Old Forester amongst these weird back-to-back side-by-sides of the Stagg.
So if I were to guess, we are a little over 9 years, right?
Real similar to it.
Yep, and very similar here, right?
Very similar there as well.
And then what we have here is a 10-year.
So
it is there.
And it's the newest one that just came out. So we're pretty excited. We just want to talk about it. I think that makes sense.
It is. It is. I mean, very comparable. I mean, they're two totally, different distilleries and everything, but they're within a year of each other. So.
Yeah. Year with each other as far as age goes.
Age-wise.
Proof is completely different. Now we've got 100 proof. No telling what the proof.
No idea what the
But
proof
this
is.
is going to go down really nice. We know
Oh,
that. And then
nice.
we've got 129.2 over here coming in. This is the one that we are involved in the pick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is the high 137.9, which just opened. So like I said, we'll let that one.
Yeah, we need to let that one. That'll be the last one we try. Need to let some of that ethanol get off.
You know what's amazing? We just did a video ranking some of the better origin series that Bardstown Bourbon produced in the 6th year, and it almost reminds me nothing of this.
I know.
Or exactly like this.
I'll tell you what. The only thing I can tell you is if you would like to come try the good old control, let us know in the comments, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, exactly. So we have people in the background again. Keenan and Daniel are here, whether they decide to speak up or not. I do know that they will be trying this with us, and we'll get some opinions there.
Yes,
Keenan, thank you for joining in and saying hello.
Guys.
Daniel, thank you guys again. Cheers, and cheers to everybody joining in. That being said, Keenan is on the control right now, and he has so far had one of the best, almost not close guesses. Not that we would tell him if it was right or not.
I feel like it's somewhere there-ish.
I mean, it's.
Thank you for
It's
that
a-
ish.
It's the same color.
It's
There
definitely
you go.
bourbon.
See,
Yeah.
that's an ish.
It is bourbon.
It's
Oh,
bourbon.
There's a
yeah.
part of it, right?
Yeah. No. But just like we said, we wouldn't tell you even if you hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do,
That's fair.
we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna start with our control because we haven't had it a bit. And it's gonna be a nice change up, and it really was.
It is.
This is nice.
Oh, yeah.
I really like where we went from what we were trying to this now, and then we're gonna go into the 1924 Old Forester for that Whiskey Roast series, their newest release that they just did. We were lucky to come across this out of a different state, and I just heard as of a couple days ago it hit our Evans area, which
Great.
is really cool.
Great.
Now, unfortunately, the MSRP on this particular bottle for the MSRP of the Whiskey Roast series is a little bit more expensive.
Yes.
So if you can get it in your area, we're going to let you know whether or not we like it, think it's worth trying in that aspect. Different mash bill.
Definitely different mash bill.
And they said that, so this isn't us. This is Old Forester saying it.
Right. And you know what? And we'll tell you what we think, And just like we've said many times before, just because we like it doesn't mean that you're going to like it. Everybody has a different palate.
But we're super excited to try this new one again.
Yes.
And this was a bottle that was given to us, so we thank you for the person that donated this bottle.
Yes, we really appreciate
this
that.
one came from us. We've had this when it was first opened. There's a little bit missing. This one, obviously, we acquired in the state. And so we're going to do a little bit of Evans versus the state, if you want to call it that.
And I'm very curious to see how something that we participated in does against another part of the state.
I've known about this store for a while in the area, and I was traveling through, and they just luckily still had it.
That's awesome.
So,
That's
really
awesome.
Cool. And like I said, we're not going to focus in on any of that, but we'll just focus on the proof. So, but the list,
uncut, unfiltered.
Yeah. The list moves on as far as the rankings and ratings go, and so what we will do is rank and rate the 1924 when we get to this, and this will be the third one we've done for 2024, moving into that series.
Yes, it is.
Now, in the event that we start to feel froggy, we will rank and rate the Staggs. That's probably not the plan.
No, probably not.
But we could discuss that, and if Keenan or Daniel decides to get in on this one for the 137.9, we definitely 100% want the background information as to what you guys feel versus
your opinion on it.
The Stagg that was involved in Evans. So
I'll tell you what, and just to be able to do, especially be able to be a part of a Stagg pick, I mean, it's fun. And I don't know how far you want to go into it or whatnot. We just got very, very lucky with that.
So this one we posted in our local market, obviously, if you want to call it that. We were all super fortunate to be involved in picking this. Keenan was there. We can almost say Keenan headed this up, if you want to call it that. It was done at his house.
Yep.
The samples that were sent are some of the best BT1 samples that we have received in years. And you could almost say, and I think Keenan would agree, you couldn't go wrong.
No.
We just picked the best that was presented.
It was.
But all of them were really good. And normally you have one that's like an easy no.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Pick it out, just say nope.
Then the second one you kind of go back and forth between. But this was like, wow, they were all really good for the first time ever. And it's just like, let's narrow down to what we're actually looking for.
We had to nitpick on a lot of this. That's how good they were. I mean, honestly, we could not have gone wrong with any of the three.
And Keenan, can you verify real quick with the success so far, what you've heard in the market, and as far as how fast the barrel sold? Did it do pretty well successfully in your opinion?
I think it was very successful. Set a record in the area as far as I know, 44 minutes. I think we had around 100 bottles.
100 plus, yeah.
Somewhere in that zone.
Yeah, the yield was a decent yield for the proof, like 140. So bottles were gone. But it went really well. Though.
Yeah. So it was very successful, and I think just getting just kind of encouraging people to provide feedback. I would say one of the biggest things does not drink its proof. Just some of the Stagg Junior prior releases, some really great feedback, some a little on the hot side maybe.
Yep.
I
mean that's hey,
rightfully
everybody is gonna get exactly what their palate is gonna allow them to get from 129.2 proof. So what's curious to me is this 137.9.
Yeah.
So in that being said though, we did take this one and run it through the gamut, which I know we're about to talk about this one, but we're still talking about this one for the time being just because it was the most recent released. So Keenan was there at his house. Thank you for hosting and everything.
Yep.
Verified that we tried this versus one of the higher George T. Staggs and Colonel Taylor barrel proofs and one of the better Stagg Juniors from prior.
Some awesome comparisons.
Yeah, so we ran it through the gamut as far as like, let's test this BT1 maxed out, and we can verify that I am wearing Bourbon socks.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And we did run this through the hydrometer.
We did.
Yeah. So
and thank you for bringing the George T. To compare with. So that was an awesome comparison.
I mean, if you're gonna run it, I think in the correct direction as far as what you're looking for in the BT1 world, then let's see what BT1 has to offer and let's compare what is available.
Definitely.
So, I think at this point I want to try some 1924.
I think so.
You're up for it.
Yes, sir. Now at least a little bit.
Yep, we're gonna keep this as simple and small as possible.
I still like. I mean, we were talking about bottles.
Presentation.
Yep.
Bingo.
It's a great. Old Forester has some good bottles. I mean,
fun fact about Justin and his opinion on the bell-shaped bottle that Stagg is sitting in currently. I give that a 1 on the presentation.
Yeah.
As far as the Stagg barrel char level, I have never been a fan of what I call the bell-shaped bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm just not a big fan. But I am a huge fan of this shape.
Oh, yeah.
bottle. So, going into the 1924 cheers. Thank you
Cheers.
guys for joining in.
Like and subscribe, guys. Let us know what you think.
What's in your glass? What do you think about 1924? Have you tried it? And even though we haven't gotten to it yet, have you tried a Stagg barrel pick?
Yeah, and let us know what you thought of it.
One of the things that I'm most interested in, we had this conversation yesterday, the availability of 1924 down the line as it compares to, Whiskey Row, and then price point versus availability. I'm looking forward to getting y'all's feedback on this bottle. I know how I felt about it. Really thoroughly enjoyed the pour.
Yeah.
But I think those just make really good
So much going on.
conversation
Definitely.
pieces in regards to where Old Forester's going.
If
in
Old
the
Forester
lineup.
is going down this path, I like the path.
I do too.
Do you like the price though?
The price I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of, only because, that was a really big because, there's several other 10 years that exist. Now, SRP, this is not our market. This is SRP that they put out on internets, if you want to call it that.
The interwebs.
The interwebs is around 115.
Yep.
Your market could be completely different. I don't know. We're not in your state.
Right.
We've seen it in our market, and very few.
Very few.
Will there be more? 100%. That's part of the Whiskey Row series. We already know that. Old Force already said that. That being said, 10-year is really cool. $115, not as cool as I wanted it to be. Is the character, the flavor, the complexity, everything there?
Yeah.
Game on.
You know what? And I think that is it. This 10-year compared to other 10 years I've had. Don't get me wrong. There's other 10 years that are great. The complexity on this one is phenomenal.
The nose.
Yes, and then
in a Glencairn, it just
it
never
just
ending.
screams. It screams at you. But the one thing that I will take it down a notch for is because of the price point.
Yeah.
That is the only thing I can knock at this. But hey, can I say if I see it out there, am I going to buy it? Honestly, yes, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. So then I'm going to take it to a different level.
Okay.
I'm going to go birthday bourbon level. If birthday bourbon level is going to dictate 125 retail, SRP if you want to call it that, to 150 depending on, again, markets. Obviously, it's going to bring in a little bit more than that in secondary, which we have another video for that. Eventually, we're going to do a secondary, which nothing to do with this now.
Right.
Why is a 2-year age gap, sometimes 1, and in 2020, 0 age gap, worth that much more? Right. So if they can bring in, $150 for a really cool shape bottle, by that way, it gets past the 4 in that shape bottle.
Right.
At that price point, why can't they do this with a 10-year version in the Whiskey Row series? And if the availability is going to be, I think it's a strong category, but I think it's a weak price point to be in a strong category based off of the other 10 years that exist. Obviously, we're in 1792.
Yeah.
That's an 8-year. Used to be an 8-year. Obviously, it's between 7 and 8 now.
Right.
Nothing to do with that. Eagle Rare's a 10-year.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a $40 bottle in our market.
I was just thinking about Eagle Rare.
And that's
just one example.
And Eagle Rare is great, but Eagle Rare, I love it. I'll go out of my way to find it and everything. But the complexity, I have to get complexity here.
Yeah, this wins in complexity.
Yes.
Here's another 10-year that I'm going to throw out there for SRP, supposedly. Not saying that this can be found or that you will find it, but Rip Van Winkle 10-year is still $90 or less SRP. That has this beat.
Yes.
Not saying that you'll find it for that, but I'm just saying 115 is still a strong. Yeah. That's a strong effort to say that we're gonna be able to pull this every time.
For me, the price point on this needs to be in the $90 range. I think that's more in $85, $90 range.
Well, I'm not here to set pricing.
No.
All I can tell you is that liquid is fantastic.
It's great, but that to me, that's where I think it would be a little bit more. I think that would be more attractive to people. That's all I'm saying. But like for me, I'm gonna buy it where it's at.
But hear me out on this, and Keenan, I keep cutting you off.
I'm sorry about that.
So hold that in. Don't hold your breath on somebody calling this baby birthday bourbon or birthday bourbon junior.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when Charles mentioned in a prior video what the definition of bourbon was to him, like when I had that pour of 1924, that's exactly what popped in my head, and that's what would motivate me to pay that price point for a bottle like that, and then you certainly start opening comparisons to other releases, 10-year releases,
Right.
Whip 10, birthday bourbon. Certainly, you're all in that zone. The complexity behind 1924 and all the
Flavors are
things
just
that-
so amazing on this one.
There's so many different flavors that you get off of this, to be honest with you. And that's why you're exactly right. The complexity on it
And
is...
by all means, if you guys want us to get further into this and really dive into flavors, complexities that we get, let us know, comment. We'll get into that. We're not going to do that right now.
Yeah, I mean,
this is just a segue because of it's new. We wanted to talk about it. We were excited about it. And Keenan was in the background. He had tried it. But we're really here for these.
Yeah.
So that being said, we are fans of the 1924.
Honestly, yeah. I like I've said multiple times already.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers. But if I see this out there, if I don't have a bottle, I'm gonna buy it. I don't think that's nothing wrong to say. No.
With that whatsoever.
To me, it's a great pour. It is so good. I enjoy it.
Yes, I think it's
enjoy it a lot.
fantastic.
Yep.
So we're gonna shrink it down. If you're ready to move on.
Yes, sir.
So here is the question. Something we were involved in at a slightly lower proof, or something we weren't involved in that have been waiting to try at a higher proof. What is the honest thoughts tonight of the group at the room as far as what is better and our honest opinions versus what everybody else thinks? I guarantee you there's going to be a certain percentage of people in the bourbon world that are going to automatically say the 137.9 is the better because people like that hit. They like that proof. They like that situation. If you're going to be paying the extra money for it, give me the higher proof.
Need to get the higher proof. Yep.
Where do we then set in to say flavor versus proof versus everything you get is worth it?
Right.
So, Charles, I'm going to leave you on camera real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to steal your glass if you finish that.
Yep.
So you tell everybody what you want to say real quick, and I'm gonna go rinse these behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. No, what we really want to know is what we are comparing. We're comparing the juice. We're not talking about price point or anything of that nature. We really want to compare the juice. Something just like Justin said, something that we were a part of, and something that we were not a part of. And I will tell you this: when it comes down to it, I like proof, but there's been some of them that just blow your palate. The other ones are just phenomenal. I like them both. So I'm very curious. I'm really excited to see this.
Here comes that word drinkability.
Drinkability.
Yes.
So in standard practice, as long as you're okay with it, sir.
Yeah.
I say we go in order of proof.
Okay.
So let's go 129, then we'll go 137. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
All right. So let's
By all
pull this
means,
one
go
up.
for it.
You ready?
Yeah. Thank
We're
you,
going to
sir.
keep these small because we have to move on to the next one. The only reason I'm keeping this small because I want to be able to make words.
That tends to help when we're doing a video, right?
Yeah. And so here we go. The
Honestly,
nice fancy glass in the background. This is Daniel in the background who keeps quiet, but this is his specific glass, that hybrid Glen that one time that we did.
Yep, the glassware.
The glassware.
Yep.
So this is, he always prefers this one, and we still prefer this one as well.
Honestly,
I'm trying to get some Champions gear, but
yeah.
All right, that was a shout out for no reason. We're talking about the glassware.
Honestly, if you get
Thanks,
a chance,
Keenan.
if you get a chance, go look at that glassware video. It's a fun, that was a fun video. That was a very fun video to do just by comparing the different glassware. It's out there. Just go see it. Like, subscribe. If you're a member on there, you'll be able to see all of our videos. It's the glassware. Just take a look at it.
Now that I think about it,
And all the other ones too.
Yeah. And cheers to you guys again.
Cheers.
So now that I think about, oh my god. The fruit blow. I
It's
mean,
just-
holy crap! I mean, so that was a unexpected in the background. I don't know if everybody got that percussion of "Oh my gosh!"
It's just a fruit
bomb
note. Yeah, it's just
on top of what we just had. It's amazing the dankiness that 1924 brings to the table. Would it only be in a 10-year?
Yeah.
So this is like the fruit bomb of BT1s. That was fantastic.
Holy
which we all
cow.
like.
how lucky were we to?
Yes, and you know,
just like we said, very lucky on this.
so
And if I would say this was one of the first in the area,
it was the first in
Okay.
the area, but without being biased because we did this
No.
at the same time, we literally tested it with so
Everything.
many others that
Yes.
you know way past professional.
No, I'm
in
just
the
saying.
industry, so.
I'm just saying how lucky we got. That is exactly. But honestly, first thing, if you've had a chance to try this, let us know on there, and I'd love to know what your first initial thought was on the nose.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because to me, it's just nothing but a fruit bomb.
Yes.
I mean, just boom.
But it's a fruit bomb of amazing complexity
Yes.
that then goes into that BT1 world. And now we're getting to the dark fruits too.
Yeah.
But coming over from 1924, which I set to the side, which is why I look down there. Not saying that this doesn't have the same dank level and that barrel depth of char and things like that. This has just got more depth. This is a brighter fruit.
Yeah, a lot brighter.
On the nose, but then sweetens up into that nice BT1, the dried figs, fruits, dates, and things like that.
And what I love about this, and I'm curious which, so this one's 129.2. If you had to say first sip, what would you think proof would be?
If I had my first sip of the day,
yeah,
and I've been working all day long, so sodas. Actually, if I've been working all day long, so whiskeys, cognacs. So no, yeah, if I've been working all day long and then finally get home and I have myself a pour, I'm gonna go. All right, this is gonna be probably in that 110 range. But after having some other bourbons, like maybe one or two,
right,
and then I decide to pour this. This is when this sips more like 100 to 105.
I said 107.
Yeah, I was going to say about a 107.
Yeah, 100 to 105 because it just mellows down because your palate is now accustomed. Now we all know, we've had nothing to drink. It's mostly been sweet soda or something like that throughout the day. Ooh. And you go to get this, and you're like, oh wow, alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah, but your palate's getting used to that bourbon.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but at this point, this is like,
oh god, it's what I remember. It's what I remember doing the pick. Mm-hmm. It is just so flavorful. The finish on this is just amazing. You think you're going to get that burn here. It's so smooth on the back end. It is so good.
Wow. All right, so on the 1924, we did kind of forget to give it a stave barrel trial rating.
We did.
So we might have to come back to that.
We can.
We already said that the bottle was really good. The liquid was good. We just didn't give it a number. But I can tell you right now, if I was to give this a number and we didn't talk about this or say anything about this whatsoever,
it would be above it.
This gets a 1 on the bottle.
Yeah.
So we know you don't like the bottle.
I don't like the bottle.
Fair.
Very, very fair. Now, if I were to say, and I could just go ahead and say this right now, ranking the two, I would rank.
We haven't been there yet.
The one that was in the. Okay,
we're not,
all right, my bad.
We're not going to rank that one yet. That could be a different time.
Okay.
Right now, we're going to focus on these.
All right.
Yeah,
well, what we'll do is we'll come back, like you said, we'll come back.
We'll come back.
Yep. Yeah. But second sip, gosh, it just gets better. It gets better.
So I'm starting to think that in the background that there's more conversation going on than drinking. That being said, they're going to miss out on this 137.9 because this technically came out first. Come to find out, if you look at the laser code on this, this is a 22. So this is L22.
Ah, it's an L23.
Versus right now. So if you look at this, I'm guessing that this is a Sazerac pick. Boom, Sazerac pick, and this is a single barrel. Boom, single barrel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you follow your laser codes, watch that video because we've already done that video once before.
Yes, indeed.
We were talking about L21s, L22s, and things like that. Those are laser codes that tell you the years. This is older. Not years aging, but been around. It's been in the market. And like I said, there was one left over, so I got lucky on that one.
It's been in the market. Man, I can't wait to try that one though. I'm very curious. I would like to see how the two juices, like I said earlier, compare to each other.
Man, 137 though. Go ahead and break out the fire alarm.
Well, you never know.
We are getting real close to hazmat.
You never know though. It might, if it's anything like it. I've had hazmats that don't drink like hazmats. So, I guess we'll find out.
We just had 129.2 that drinks like
about 105,
105-ish.
Yep.
So
then if that were to say that should drink about a 110 to a 115.
Estimating where it could possibly be.
Yeah. If they were comparable.
Yeah. Again, very, very impressed with this one. And we've talked about that one enough as far as like we were involved, so it's going to sound very biased no matter how we say it, mold it, talk about it. The best way to really experience this is try it for yourself.
Yeah. And honestly, let us know
what you think. So, I mean, the best way in the background would be to say, hey, Daniel, what do you think? But the problem is he was there at the end, so he's kind of biased.
Yeah, he got to try.
Or could be. You know, we don't really know if he's biased or not. And Keenan could potentially be biased because he was involved too. So the moral of this story is there's a potential biasness on this, but what we're not going to be is once we try this, if this literally is better.
Oh, I'm going to be
I
honest.
have no problem saying it's better because no means we had the really good opportunity.
Yes.
No means doesn't mean somebody else has a really good opportunity.
And honestly, you never know. They could have got a honey barrel, and you know what? And good for them. But Justin, you're exactly right. I'm going to be completely honest. If that one blows this one out of the water, I will say it.
Hey, let's go back to the old school videos, shall we?
Yeah.
So you know what a neck pour is?
Yep.
I don't like the term.
Mm-hmm.
What are we getting now?
No. Yeah.
What are we getting now?
It's just bourbon.
Is that the butt pour?
It's the bourbon pour. You can see that in one of our old videos.
2024 is different. We're gonna start bringing out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Taking off a little bit of the brakes and moving forward. Yeah.
Trying to.
You mind if I get the first?
No, go for it. That's yours.
That's way too much. 137.9.
So I'm very curious. While I'm pouring, I would love to hear
that little bloop 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 bloop. I realized I had one too many bloops.
I want to know.
That's gonna knock Charles out.
Yes, it is. I want to know what.
Come on, guys, bring up the glassware. You know, in the background.
I want to know the initial thoughts on the nose because that was the first thing first thing I usually do with any bourbon, any.
Oh, it's
whiskey,
definitely nose.
Whatever.
So we're gonna let this settle. Obviously, we just poured it straight out, so then it's in the Glen. So usually, what I'll do is I'll swirl it around and then I'll let it settle. And then if it gets a little bit too much ethanol, like we've talked about in other videos, kind of nose it. You can tell. Then slight puff of air. It'll knock that right out. It is a bulbous glass. That's what it's designed for. Think of it like a chimenea. We've talked about this before too.
But
holy cow! So
Ooh.
This one is not gonna be bad. Based off of the nose.
No.
But what's really interesting is just watching it fall from bottle to glass, the viscosity is completely different.
Yes.
Talking about higher alcohol by 10, well, not quite 10, it's about 8.
8, yeah. But I'll tell you what it's got that fruit nose to it too.
It does, it really does, yeah.
Now, I don't think it's as pronounced.
No, it's got, because this one has a blend of the fruit and ethanol.
Yes.
So you can tell this one's a higher proof.
Yes.
And so I cannot wait for Keenan to get his Nalgene bottle, rinse his glass out, and get a pour of this, and then come on the voice part of the camera.
How do we feel about Nalgene for real, though?
I mean, she was a good aunt.
I know.
Aunt Nalgene.
Like and subscribe, guys.
Yeah.
Honestly. But no, right off the bat, you're exactly right. You get that ethanol, but I get the fruit. And Daniel, I'm curious. Do you get the fruit on that one also?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. It's fruit and ethanol on this one, whereas the other one is like a complete fruit bomb as far as the BT1 goes. Now, depending on your nose, everybody's different. Now, keep in mind, and I think I've talked about this a lot of times when I get opportunities to go do tastings in front of crowds and like this. You have two different noses, and it sounds crazy. You have a left and a right. Your brain reads crossways. Yep. So there's a reason that we crack the mouth to your olfactory system, get involved, and then go right to left. Left to right.
And you will get it.
Yeah, you can close it off if you're not used to it. And you'll get literally, the brain reads separately. Yep. There's going to be a sweet and a spice side almost. And it's really neat that the way that works as far as the olfactory system. But that was nothing to do with what we're talking about. Again, watch some of our older videos from back in the day.
Okay. First sip. Already got that one out of the way. And I'll just let you get that. I'll tell you what I got right off the bat. I'm getting that ethanol right on the tip. I'm getting that proof.
This reminds me of a very familiar Stagg Jr. selection of different releases. And this is going to be a strange way of putting it, but think of it, in your, mind of trying different bourbons and your library of trying all these different things and then trying to portray this as best you can. I'm going to say this, and I haven't had this in a while, but there's several Stagg Juniors I'm not a fan of. There's only been about 2 years that I was a big fan of.
Yep.
Now, Stagg moving forward, they took the junior off, but I'm referring to the Stagg juniors. That being said, some of those proofs, they were higher, some of them weren't. But they had a different mouthfeel, and it almost felt chalky. So it was almost like it was growing or like clouding up, if that makes sense. This one kind of does that a little bit, and it reminds me of some of the Stagg juniors in the past. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
To me, I think that's a lot of the proof. I think it's.
I think it is. Yeah. I think that is the proof.
I think that's the proof doing it. And first sip, a lot of proof. Getting a little bit right here, and that's, you know what? But that's the first sip. We go through the 3-sip method. I mean, that's 100%, what we do.
Yeah. And then a lot of the old Stagg juniors, nothing wrong with them. Again, they have this chest cavity that makes me feel like it's getting tight.
Yeah.
And then it'll get the throat, but it doesn't do. This one's not doing that.
No.
So I'm not getting any chest cavity tightness.
Just get a little warmth.
I get a little bit of warmth, but I'm not getting in that. Oh, it's coming back. But that original mouthfeel reminds me, and. Correct me if I'm wrong. What's your opinion? What's your thoughts? It's almost like a chalky.
To me, it's
drying, tanning oats, things like that.
That's
but it's almost like like you're licking chalk.
It's like, to me, I get the very tanning. It's almost like to me, it's the tingling that's going back that's causing that. That's what's causing it to me. But this, this has a drying effect like no other right now. I mean, that's what I'm getting.
Don't get me wrong. The character-wise,
it's got.
I really like the flavor. The flavor is really good.
It is very.
I don't dislike it.
No, but to me, this one drinks. I don't think it drinks like a 137, but it drinks like a 125, 130.
Yeah, this to me, I'm glad you said that. This is a 137 that drinks about like a full proof.
Yes.
And by full proof, I mean entry proof.
Yep.
And so I'm going to give this every bit of probably that 120 range.
Yep. That's just where I'm at with it, because...
Now I'm starting to get a little bit of the chest. This is the fun part about, like I said, bring out the fire alarm, because here comes close to hazmat. So if you haven't had a hazmat, which is 140 plus proof, welcome to, you got to balance the flavor versus the burn. And this is going to be another video that we're going to talk about, as long as Charles is okay with it. What is your turnover? We've already talked about bourbon turnover. What is your turnover for barrel proofs?
Yeah.
How often are we drinking these? Is this something that we're going to drink every day? Is this just a once in a lifetime? Or is this a once in a week?
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
So third sip for me, it's still tingle. It's tingle from the front all the way to the back. It's almost like my tongue's numb right now, to be honest with you.
I think that says something, but it also says something to a lot of the crowd in the bourbon world. I've kind of calmed down a lot because of this. Because I'm trying not to move too much to where it actually burns the chest cavity.
Yeah.
Uncut, unfiltered chest cavity.
No, I mean...
Keenan. All right, this is what we've been waiting for this. You've tried it. You've tried the one that you were involved in. And so come on over closer to the microphone and...
let us know. I think we kind of got a little bit of Daniel's opinion. I saw a little bit of him look like he was walking around back there.
Yeah.
All right, Keenan, let's hear it.
Okay, so give us your, you've been in this before. You've done this with us before.
Yep.
You've been there multiple times, and we thank you for that. So that being said, first shot at 137.9 proof, different area of Georgia, Stagg pick.
You can go straight for the bottle of the comparison.
You can do, you go straight for the bottle first. Yeah.
So straight for the bottle, I think you hit the nail on the head. Tannins, chalky, proof is up there.
Piece of char.
I get some good burn on the tongue.
Yeah.
Some people like tingling, but when it comes to bourbon and drinking, the tingling is I'm not a big fan of. Nope. Sorry, uncut, unfiltered. But what's interesting is doing the side by side. So let's say we just take this bottle without having tried the pick that we were involved in. I think we have a whole different game at that point, truthfully.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that's the fun of the side by side, right?
It really is. I think you have hit another level of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if we'd have just said this,
if this is the only one we have,
not this.
Yeah.
But side by sides make the world go round in the bourbon world, because that's what makes us look for different things to try.
Right.
So go on. Yeah. So that's brilliant. Keep on.
For me, though, this is an absolute total knockout.
So you're saying that the 137 for the W?
Negative.
Just
no, I mean, you know, so biased as I can be, you know, dark fruits, fruit notes, mix them in with some sweetness.
It's really building.
yeah.
And you've got my bourbon jam. I mean, I just absolutely love everything about the pick that we were lucky enough to be involved in.
Yep.
Nothing against
The Georgia pick.
our close to hazmat over here, but it's just the fun of how bourbon water that is similarly created in similar spots comes out so different.
Yep.
So different.
Same mash bill.
Well,
It's just so different.
So I'm gonna cheers to you guys.
Yep,
I got
cheers.
one more surprise that we're gonna do.
But
So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this a little bit off. And Daniel, could you pull us that George T. Stagg down and bring that to the table, please?
What I would like to say is this. Not only, for me, the tingle factor, just like you're saying, I agree with you 100%. If I'm drinking something, I don't mind having a little bit on the front. I don't want it coated. I don't want my whole entire tongue or on the back end.
What I was gonna say is, I could see people that love like a higher proof.
Yeah.
Because it is it is too complex and it has the fruits and everything else. They would love this.
Right.
Because some people love the burn.
I agree.
They do.
And
now
it has good flavor too.
Now let's run the
you know?
gamut. This is the exact same bottle that we ran the pick versus.
Yep.
138.7. Now this has got some more age to it. We all know this. So now we're all going to do a small sip of this to see how it compares, and then we're going to end the video.
Yep.
As long as you're good with that.
That works. But the one thing I was going to say is this, that complexity-wise, I still think the complexity on this one.
Oh yeah,
Is-
that definitely the flavor, the complexity. I think in this situation, I'm going to give that one for the W. But let's go this most recent pick, because if we're going to run our pick in the gamut of life of bourbon, then we might as well do it versus other ones, right?
Yeah. And this was fun when we were doing this. Just like you said, Justin was able to bring this one, and we did it against this, and
Yeah. Well, yeah, bourbon is meant to be consumed. That's what we do.
that's what we do. Yes, indeed. Everybody, please let us know what you think. If you've had either one of these before, or if you had a different store pick, let us know what you think. Or compare a store pick with the regular.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to hear.
And if you've ever done a video that was involving 3 barrel proofs of 130 near proof,
Yeah.
and made it through it, that's what I want to know. Too. I think we did a good job.
I think so. I mean, we're hanging in
If you're
there.
going to compare and compare and compare, you might as well compare and compare and compare and contrast to ones that are very similar.
Very much so.
It does make it challenging, though.
It does. It does. Because I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't kick this one to the curb.
No,
not at
I
all.
would never keep that one
No.
to the curb. No.
It's just because we're doing a side by side. That's what we're doing.
Yes, that's what this is. We are literally doing a side by side. Barrel Charlie. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Yep.
There's that kick. I
Yep,
still
it's
haven't
kicking.
tried this.
Right.
That's still kicking, so I'm not gonna lie. Barrel char level rating for Bourbon Banter. Still give it 1
Yeah.
on the bottle.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Right.
So stay tuned. We might let these open and breathe a little bit longer.
And we can try it
come
again.
back. But I guarantee you, none of these are going to be in the 2s.
No, and honestly, let us know in the comments if you have a barrel pick of a Stagg that you would love to compare to one of these. Let us know in the comments. We'll see what we can do about that.
You see the amount of liquid that's available. Let's make this happen.
Yeah,
let's
definitely.
bring a different. And what we would like, obviously, Evans is our region.
Yeah.
If you have a different region or a different state, reach
Definitely.
out to us.
Yeah.
Let's collaborate on a different side by side for BT1s from different states. That's what makes this really fun. Is let's see what other states pick versus what we pick.
Yeah, and just how good is their taste? What were the samples they were given? Were they given good samples or not? I mean,
Right.
that has
Did you
a lot
go
to
to
do
the
with it.
distillery and pick
Right,
them, so
yeah.
on and so forth? Yeah. So I can tell you right now, this GTS is fantastic. Again, this has more notes of the first one, though. Even though the proof. So this one is definitely winning. 138.7, tastes nothing like it.
No,
But it was a really good way to finish this video.
it is. Man, how sweet is that? for what it is, it's got the sweet notes like
know.
crazy.
And so I say cheers to you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Daniel.
Cheers,
for joining
everybody.
the background. Thank you guys for helping with this pick. You guys did a fantastic
Cheers, guys.
job. And again, stay tuned for 2024. We're gonna kick things off and do a little bit different from now on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Give us your comments and hit that like and subscribe button, guys, and we'll see you next time.